Welcome to this keto series. You are about to meet the nurse who finally lost weight with keto. Meet Angela, a 52-year-old nurse from Omaha who spent more than 20 years working the night shift in the cardiac ward. She's the kind of nurse who never takes a real break, who knows every doctor's coffee order, and who can find a missing chart fast. But while she cared for everyone else, her own health slowly unraveled. Her coworkers joked that caffeine ran through her veins instead of blood. She laughed, but it was true. By 10 p.m., she was halfway through her second energy drink. By 2 a.m., she was hunting for anything sweet to keep her eyes open. The hospital vending machine became her dining room. A bag of chips and a Diet Coke counted as dinner. Here are the numbers she could not ignore. At her annual checkup, Angela's doctor raised an eyebrow. Blood pressure? High. Triglycerides? Climbing. Weight. 227 pounds. He warned her she was edging toward prediabetes. She nodded politely, promised to do better, and went straight to the drive-thru afterward because night shift hunger hits hard and planning meals felt impossible. Here's the moment that hit home, but one night on the ward changed everything. A 36-year-old patient was admitted with type 2 diabetes complications. While Angela adjusted his IV, he said quietly, "You remind me of my mom. She's sick too." Something in that comment stopped her cold. She realized she could soon be the one lying in that hospital bed if she didn't change course. When she saw his overweight mom visiting, she knew that she looked exactly like this woman. She was searching for hope at 3 a.m. after her shift. Angela sat in her car, too tired to cry, too wired to sleep. She opened her phone and typed in "how to lose weight after 50" into YouTube and stumbled onto a keto success story. Then another. And another. People her age were reversing insulin resistance, losing weight, and feeling energetic again, all by eating differently. It was confusing and encouraging. As a nurse, she'd always been skeptical of diets, but keto sounded scientific. Reduce carbs, lower insulin, burn fat for energy. That wasn't magic. It was biochemistry. Starting keto, the shock to her system, Angela dove in. She tossed her granola bars, cereal, and yogurt cups, and restocked her kitchen with eggs, avocado, chicken, and butter. As she related, the first week was brutal. She called it the carb funeral. Her head throbbed, her mood swung like a pendulum, and she almost tackled a coworker for a donut. But she stuck it out. She reminded herself, if my patients can handle heart surgery recovery, I can handle a little sugar withdrawal. Here's the energy surprise. Around week 3, Angela noticed something she hadn't felt in years: focus without heavy effort. No more mid-shift fog, no more crashing into the break room like a zombie. Her coffee stayed black, and her energy stayed steady. She said it felt like someone turned the lights back on in her brain. Keto at the hospital, the real-life challenge. Night shift life doesn't stop for diets. The cafeteria closed at 7 p.m., and the only 24-hour options were fries or pizza. So Angela created her own system: a small cooler bag with boiled eggs, turkey slices, cheese sticks, and avocado cups, plus keto chocolate balls. When her coworkers went for chips, she took out her handful of nuts. Her friends teased her Angela's on her bacon diet, but they couldn't argue with her results. Within 2 months, her uniform pants were loose. By 4 months, she had to buy new scrubs entirely. The science behind her success. Angela often explains keto like this: your body has 2 fuel tanks, sugar and fat. Most of us live off the sugar tank. But when you run out of sugar, your body finally switches to burning fat. That's keto. You're literally fueling yourself with your own stored energy. She always knew that fat wasn't the enemy. Insulin was. Every carb-heavy snack she'd eaten before bed kept her insulin high, trapping her fat stores. But applying this knowledge to herself was another matter. Once she came to grips with eating fat and losing the carbs, she broke that cycle, and the pounds practically fell off. 6 months later, there was a new Angela. 6 months in, Angela was 55 pounds lighter. Her blood pressure normalized, her knees no longer ached, and her energy soared. She'd gone from needing 2 naps on her days off to waking up early for walks with her dog. Her doctor couldn't believe her blood work. Lower triglycerides, better HDL, and a healthy fasting glucose for the first time in years. She wasn't just slimmer. She was stronger, happier, and more confident. The humor of it all. Angela admits she did some ridiculous things along the way. She sniffed toast at work just to remember what bread smelled like. She once hid bacon bits in her scrub pocket for emergencies. And during a particularly rough night, she tried to convince herself cauliflower mash tasted just like potatoes. It didn't. But she laughed anyway, because humor helped her stay on track and stick to her new eating pattern, the keto and the night shift reality. For anyone who's worked overnight, you know how your body doesn't cooperate. The fluorescent lights mess with hormones, sleep deprivation triggers hunger, and stress sends you hunting for sugar. Angela learned to hack it. She brought her meals, stayed hydrated, and limited snacking to real food. She also started drinking keto coffee, black coffee blended with MCT oil and a splash of heavy cream. It's like jet fuel, she joked. It kept her full for hours and stopped the cravings that used to attack her before sunrise. Here's the lesson from her patients. One of Angela's favorite memories came when a long-term patient asked what she'd been doing differently. When she explained keto, the patient said, "You should teach this to all of us." That was the moment she realized her journey wasn't just personal. It was an example. Nurses heal best when they're healthy themselves. Here are Angela's simple keto rules. 1. Keep it real. If it has a label, it's probably not real food. She stuck to meat, eggs, fish, and vegetables. 2. Don't fear fat. Olive oil, butter, and avocados became her allies. 3. Plan for chaos. A little prep saved her from vending machine regret. 4. Stay lighthearted. Keto doesn't mean joyless. She still enjoyed life. She just skipped the sugar crash. Here is what she learned about herself. Keto didn't just change Angela's body. It changed her relationship with food. She stopped eating because she was tired or stressed. She learned to eat to fuel herself. And she realized that being healthy was the best. She said, "I spent decades telling patients to take care of themselves while ignoring my own advice. Now I practice what I preach." Here's how she keeps it off. Today, Angela describes herself as keto-ish. She's not obsessed with macros or perfection. She enjoys the occasional glass of wine or a low-carb dessert, but stays far from her old sugar habits. She's maintained her weight for over a year, something no other diet ever gave her. She focuses on real foods, balance, and kindness toward herself. Keto gave me structure, but self-respect keeps me going, she says. Angela's new outlook on life. Before keto, Angela often dreaded her shifts. Now she feels lighter, not just physically, but emotionally. She no longer hides from mirrors. She wears fitted scrubs instead of the oversized ones she used to wear. Rest. Her coworkers tell her she glows. One even asked if she'd had something done. Angela laughed. "Yes," she said. "I stopped eating donuts." The takeaway for every woman watching Angela's story isn't about perfection. It's about starting, even when you're tired, stressed, and unsure. She's proof that you can be exhausted and still choose change. You can be in your 50s and still transform your health. If you're a nurse, a caregiver, or anyone who spends your life helping others, remember this: you deserve to feel as good as the people you care for. What you can learn from Angela's journey. You don't need fancy supplements. You don't have to exercise for hours. You don't need perfect sleep or time off work. You just need a plan, a grocery list, and the belief that you're worth the effort. Here is the moment that still makes her smile. One evening while walking her dog, Angela saw her reflection in a store window and barely recognized herself, not because she was thinner, but because she looked peaceful. She said it was the first time in years she felt proud instead of guilty about food. Final thoughts for you. Why keto worked. It worked because it fit Angela's life. It didn't require measuring every calorie or living at the gym. It rewarded consistency, not perfection. And for a woman whose life was built on chaotic schedules, that structure felt like freedom. Angela's story isn't just about losing weight. It's about reclaiming control over energy, confidence, and health. If Angela could lose 55 pounds while working 12-hour night shifts surrounded by cookies and stress, you can too. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. When your body feels like an empty cup, but you can fill it with keto coffee. So start small, stay consistent, and take care of the most important person, yourself.